It's 7.
Oh, only 3 minutes left.
Oh, 3. No, that's not only. That's late.
We have
What's wrong with her? What's wrong with this girl?
Different, perspectives about being late.
Why?
3 minutes is not. Are you too close? You might be too close. Well, maybe, I don't know. We have different perspectives about being
I don't
late.
know. Oh, no, we don't. You're gonna get it. You're gonna mature and you're gonna get it. Because late is late.
I mean,
ma'am.
Good jobs give you grace periods.
I don't care.
Like, my job gives me a 10-minute grace period.
That is unprofessional. That's because y'all kids, what are y'all, Gen Z? Y'all don't know how to act.
I don't think
That
that.
is just so disrespectful.
We're learning the sense of grace.
Girl, bye. Grace will send you to hell. Not understanding grace the right way will make you go to hell. And you'll be late.
To go to hell.
You'll be late.
I'm going to go to hell because I'm late?
Yes. I'm Kojic now. Church of God in Christ.
Oh, excuse me.
They gang. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm going to say I grew up non-denominational.
No, I'm not. Yeah. No, I'm not.
I grew up non-denominational.
It is 7:03. Let's see who. 7:04. See who's joining us. We gotta get this camera right here. Yeah, we in formal. Good evening. Thanks for joining. I can't see any comments, so I don't know who's joining us. We got people coming on. Hey, Shakiria. See who's coming on tonight. I got the window open, so they would cut the grass.
Can we close it?
Yeah. They would cut the grass tonight while we're trying to do the podcast. They usually cut the grass in the morning. And so they waited to try to disturb the peace of Queen Status Podcast. Welcome, you guys. Thanks so much for joining my daughter and I. So she is back this week. She was spending time with her friends last week, but she carved some time out of her schedule today to talk with us.
I missed the podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
You did?
Yeah, I was kind of sad last week.
You were like a celebrity. I went to an event and they said, "We love your podcast. We love your daughter." And I was like, "What about me?"
Oh my god, that made me cry. I'll cry in a second.
They loved you, so I'm so happy about that. So you might have to just start doing it all the time.
That's fine with me.
Even when you go to Texas, you have to call in. So
I can do that.
Do it all
we're gonna have to get professional and get cameras and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start doing it from YouTube and all that stuff, and then they can bring you in. You can,
Yeah, we have to get mics, like the podcast mics.
Well, I don't have the big ones, but I have the small ones.
Oh, that still works.
I just haven't hooked them up yet.
Oh, well, we can do that tonight. Try to figure it out. So next Monday we'll have them together.
Okay, all right.
Because those certain mics do like noise cancellation and stuff, so they'll hear us a lot clearer.
So they won't hear the grass cutting. Okay, got you, girl. That's why I keep you around.
I got a few friends that know what they're doing.
Well, good evening, and thank you for joining the Queen Status Podcast tonight. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. We appreciate you so much. Share this podcast with someone you know so that we can grow. Bars, like last week, bars. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the making of a queen. But before we get started with that, I want to invite you guys to visit my website, Nichelle Smith. Hey, Shantae. Shantae is the one who said, "Oh, your daughter is great. Your daughter is amazing."
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She is a longtime friend.
Don't make me
so
cry.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. So we're going to have fun tonight. We're not necessarily going to be on a time schedule because what we're talking about
hey girl, hey
depends on how you guys respond. We're just going to have a conversation and bounce stuff off of each other and figure this thing out. Share the podcast with someone you know so that we can grow. I'm sure that there's somebody that you know that can benefit from these conversations that we have. And we just love doing it. So visit my website, NichelleSmith.com. There's going to be some amazing things going on there. I think you guys are really going to like it. It'll be fully up and running July 1st, but there's some things that you can kind of look around and see before that. We have our Me t-shirts on. And that's a piece.
They look like twins.
So that's a piece from Queen Status. It's me, my essence, and that's the accountability piece. for us as women, because some of the things that we go through nowadays, we bring on ourselves. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't be the victim. We can't point our fingers at other people all the time. We have to do self-inventory on a regular basis. And so the me shirts, the My Essence shirts remind us that we have to be accountable for the things that we do, the things that we accept, the ways that we move, dealing with people who don't value us, not understanding our worth. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So, if we're taking daily accountability, we can do nothing but be great. You can do nothing but be a queen. So tonight, the making of a queen. Okay. And so when I say I love this topic, I love this topic. I'm sorry, you guys. It can kind of be put together with, I don't want to say being a wife, because everybody doesn't. Well, everybody doesn't want to be a wife though, and so I don't put it with. I don't want to put it with that, but I believe, this is my belief, that you have the characteristics of a wife long before you ever become a wife. I believe that. Yeah. And I believe that some people think that they have those characteristics just because they are a woman, a female, and that's not true. Hey, Melanie. And that's not true. But tonight, thank you guys for going to the website. I can see it popping up as we're talking. But tonight we're going to talk about the making of a queen. And it is my absolute favorite subject, because my most favorite book in the Bible is Esther. And the book of Esther, a lot of people will say, hey, back at your queen, good evening. Some people would say that Esther is not even it shouldn't even be in the Bible. I've heard people say that. Why? Yeah, because God is not mentioned in that book, but he's referenced. People are so religious.
Yeah, I was about to say, that don't even make sense, because, just her devotion, period. It's just like, he doesn't necessarily have to mention, because if I think of other books of the Bible in terms of the male stories, there are some people he's only mentioned and he doesn't appear. And so to turn around and be like, well, she shouldn't be in the Bible just because she's a woman. It's the fact that she's a woman. That don't make it make sense.
That part. But people say that. I don't care. I love Esther. She was a boss in her own right. I don't care what anybody says. And she definitely was a queen in her own right. And so tonight we're going to talk about the makings of a queen to make sure that we are prepared. It doesn't necessarily.
What's so funny about Esther?
What?
You remember? I don't know if you remember, but right before I went to college, Sister Cheryl prayed over me, and she told me about Esther. I reminded her. That's so funny.
And so, hey, Tamika, congratulations on your graduation and your degree. Do you remember Sister Tamika Payne?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a big wig. She is a big wig. So, in talking about the making of a queen, there are so many characteristics for that, and it is basically wisdom. It's like femininity. It's wisdom. It's not just the lipstick and eyelashes and things like that. It's wisdom. And so I've got a few points that I want to talk about, that we're going to start talking about. And then we're going to talk about the different roles of queens as we go. So, of course, the first role of a queen, I would have to say, would be a relationship with God. Her prayer life, and the way a queen is positioned, there are so many things that are required of her. And so just remember, just because you're not a wife or whatever, it doesn't mean that you can't be a queen. It just means that you carry those characteristics. And so in being a queen, you have to understand your position and how you need to be positioned in the earth, in the community, or whatever, to be a pillar for your family. And so in being a pillar for your family, that means you're selfless. Okay. It means that you are, you are sacrificial, because that's what love is. Love is sacrificial. It's not the feelings. It's not the this. It's not the that. It is simply sacrificial. If someone says that they love you and they have not sacrificed anything for you, they might feel like it's love. But it doesn't show up as love until a person is very willing. Yeah, that part. It's not love until there's a sacrifice. God sacrificed his son for us. That's it. That's all. We can talk about a lot of different stuff, and God is everything. But the one thing he did was he sacrificed his son. So I would say that is first. The relationship with God, your prayer life is everything. And developing it daily and continuously is everything. We can pray, God hears everything that we say, but at the same time, when you have the word of God down in your heart and you can pray God's word back to God, you know that your prayers are going to be answered because you're praying his promises, you're praying what he has said, and so we can't pray it wrong. A lot of times when I don't have words to pray, I'll just say, God, your will be done, because I can't mess that up. I can mess up even my prayers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've been saying, I'm not saying that, like, I don't know. I guess just me being vulnerable and being a young woman, I'd be like insecure in my prayers because I'd be like, I don't say like all the stuff that I be hearing at church.
The religious stuff.
And not even religious, but I just don't be saying everything, and I just be speaking. It's just a conversation that
thanks for joining us.
I just be speaking like as if I'm having a conversation, and I'd be like, I know he hears
that's a prayer.
Me. Okay, because I'd be like, I don't know. I just be speaking.
That's
and
a prayer.
Sometimes if I don't.
Hey, Monica.
If I don't, I'm not digging my nose. I'm messing with my nose piercing. I'm messing with my nose piercing.
Who raised you, girl? Who raised you?
But, and then, like, I guess for me, if I don't know if my brain is too busy, I say, God, listen to, the desires of my heart. Or what I don't know, it's deciphered through my thoughts. Because I don't know. I know that's right. That makes me feel better.
What? Honey?
She said, honey, when you hear me talking to God in this house by myself, me and him just be talking.
Do you hear me?
And so that makes me feel better because I don't know. I be wanting to say, like, as growing up in the church or whatever, and hearing how people have prayed, and even people my age be praying, I just be like, I do not pray like that. I just be talking, and I be trying to remember like scriptures and stuff while I pray. But it's like a lot of times I know it's a fault of mine. I should do better. But I be getting like when I start praying, I'm literally about to close my eyes, and so I be like, okay, Lord, let me remember all the people I'm supposed to pray
Lorenzo.
for. Let me remember all the people I'm supposed to pray for. Let me remember everything. Because I literally be ready to close my eyes. And I know I'm not supposed to do that. But maybe that's the problem. Because I be literally about to board my plane.
Well, but the thing about it is, board your plane means go to sleep. We started that a long time ago. And I tell people, hey, after 10 o'clock, I'm going on vacation. And I won't be back till in the morning. So that's what she means when she says board her plane. But God accepts prayer. There are some prayers in the Bible that were only one word.
Okay.
And it's a part of development. When you start doing your devotions and really saying, hey, God, I'm going to devote this thing to you, and I'm really going to get disciplined and whatever, that you do where God is concerned, then you will develop that. And so it takes a minute. Hey, little Nikki. But the thing about it is as you go and your relationship develops, those things come to you and you start retaining scripture and you can pray that scripture back. But right now, like Melanie said, it's plenty of times I'll be like, hey, God, I don't understand. Hey, man, I don't understand what just happened. Okay. Right now, why did I have to get the wind knocked out of me? You got to make me understand this. Yeah. And sometimes that's just how you have to go to God, because sometimes you don't have the words. Sometimes there's a hurt or a tragedy or whatever, and you don't even have the words to pray. And so sometimes you do have to just talk to God, and he hears you. He sees what you got going on anyway.
Okay.
So it's that.
Lord, listen to my heart. I don't, I might not know all the words. And the thing is, what's so crazy is because, as you know, I always got something to say.
But when you talk to God, you ain't got nothing to say. Speak up. But as far as going to sleep, I used to do that all the time. But you can't. You got to get to a place where you say, God, I'm gonna give you my time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to set an alarm like how I do for work and everything else. Most likely, because I'd be feeling so guilty because when I was in college,
Shantae says he knows your heart. He
oh,
does.
thank you. Because like I guess for me, I just be feeling some type of way because when I was in college, you know, when I became president of church at ISU, I devoted my time, you know, because during that part of my life, you know, you and Dad were like so helpful in that point in my life because I didn't want to seem like an imposter. You know,
I didn't want you to do that either.
Yeah, like I had to host Bible study weekly, and then we also did.
Hey, Sharita.
We also did church service once or twice a month, where I had to reach out to different pastors in Terre Haute and Indianapolis or whatever, and I had to set that up. And so, but the whole thing of hosting Bible study weekly, I did not want to seem like, oh, she really don't know what she's talking about. And so during that time, that's where I really started studying my word and watching sermons, whatever. So, and talking to you and Dad, to, you know, get closer to God. So that way I knew what I was talking about. And so now that I'm out of college and I'm, you know, I got my full-time job and I'm doing everything, trying to be social, trying to, you know, be an adult, I feel like I definitely have like fallen. I won't say fallen. What's the word?
Well, sometimes you can fall off. I get that.
Yeah, fall off, whatever. And so it's just like I be feeling guilty because I'm like, I'm trying to necessarily get back to it. And so I'm just like, I don't want him to feel like he's not a priority because God will always be a priority in my life. It's just like I just be feeling insecure in certain things that I'm doing because I'm just like, I fell off and I'm sorry.
Well, the one thing we can be sure of is you don't have to feel insecure where God is concerned. That's where it's grace and new mercy every morning. So every morning we have a clean slate.
Yeah.
So every morning you have the opportunity to do something different. So if you want that relationship, it's just like having a relationship with a person.
Yeah.
You know, I would feel some kind of way. I might feel a little bit sad if my daughter never came to see me or whatever. So God understands and he knows, but at the same time, you want him to be a priority the same way that you want him to be a priority. Or am I saying that right?
Yeah.
You know,
at least to me.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're calling out and you're asking God to do something, well, you know, the average person would say, "Hey, Debbie," would say, you ain't even called me. You don't even talk to me.
And so I will say, like when I wake up in the morning, you know, even after I read your prayer, I say my own little prayer or whatever. And so like, you know, every morning I say, I thank him for waking me up. You know, I thank him for a new day. I ask for a new excitement, a new mind. And I ask him to be a vessel.
Oh, it's coming real fast. So Shantae said, y'all going, hey y'all, it's going real fast. Shantae, let's see. I'm sorry with my fingernails. Be confident in everything you do and know God understands what you're going through.
Thank you.
Melanie says, in this season, focus on a step at a time, a day at a time. Nothing comes together all at once. That is good. Thank you guys.
Because I would say, you know, and you know, with the type of job that I have, I always ask God to help me be a vessel or a blessing in my own way. Because I can't talk about religion at work, but in a sense of giving me the words and stuff to say so that I can help somebody. With me working at the Indiana Civil Rights Commission, every call that I get, I'm getting somebody's either worst day, worst week, worst month, worst 6 months, whatever. And so, you know, I always ask them to help me be a vessel in some sort of sense, so that way I can help somebody else.
Minister.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Especially for someone 26 years old. And so, yeah, with the makings of a queen, the first making of a queen is your stability, your relationship, your foundation with God. That is your armor. That is what's going to allow you to keep it moving. I mean, because when you are a queen, understand that. Hey, Michael, when you are a queen, understand that people always want to knock you off your pedestal. They want to get you off your square. And I always say queens don't move emotionally. They move strategic.
Oh, I need to master that.
Yeah. We all are still working on trying to move strategic because there are some people. Hey, Brenda. You remember Brenda? You know, we all have places where we're triggered, you know, and I talked about that last week. So, you know, you just have to practice at this thing. And when you're always practicing and you're always thinking about trying to be strategic, then it comes. And so I always say queens are not emotional, they're strategic. And in Proverbs 25, that's a good verse. Do you have the Bible app on your phone?
Yeah.
In Proverbs 25, and we're getting all off the subject, but Proverbs 25 is really, really good to reference. And it's something that I reference when I feel like that I'm dealing in emotion. Because when we deal in emotion, we can't even rightfully decipher how we're dealing with people. And sometimes our emotions can spill over on people, and they can cut people, and they haven't cut us, and that's not fair. Did you get it?
25 and what?
26.
Oh, I'm gonna get it. Okay, I have easy to read. Is that okay? Okay, it says, good people who don't stand strong against evil are like springs that have been polluted, or pools that have turned dirty and muddy.
And so, you know, it's just saying, when people come at you just sideways, any kind of way, you don't give them the satisfaction of going willy-nilly and just doing the fool. We don't do that.
gosh.
Queens don't do that.
Me and Will was just talking about this yesterday in terms of me, like, talking to him. And, like, you know, because I'm at a point in my life where, you know, some of y'all don't know me, but if anybody who's in my friends, close friends joins, I used to be a hothead, you know, and real bad. She didn't have to do that. But there are so many stories, because of what, you know, there are so many stories that my friends have of me going off on different people.
And that's just not queen status. It doesn't look good. I don't care. It's a lot of women to be talking about, yeah, I'll pop off and not give you.
Yeah, and so, but my thing is,
we ain't doing that. Even though I have been guilty, so I'm not judging nobody. I had to hold my tongue a few weeks ago.
And so the thing is, like, you know, I had to really, what made me realize I needed to change. I think
hey Jennifer,
it was sometime last year. Because you know me, I was ready to go. And so, you know, my friends, you know, we were talking, we had a girls' night, and my friends recognized me as that type of person. I was just like, ooh, that's 25. Because at the time I was 25. I was like, that's not cute. I'm 25. Like, I should probably do something. And so now, a year later, I will say I actively have, you know, I actively remember, like, if somebody makes me upset, I actively think to myself, we're not going.
Hey Tamika,
we're not gonna do this.
We're not gonna do this. We're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah, and I try, you know, I try to hold my tongue, and so just telling my brother, like, hey, you know, you gotta, when you get into it with somebody, look at the person that you're getting into it with. Look at the situation, and think, is it worth it? Yeah, is it worth it?
Is it worth my time? First of all,
yeah.
Is it worth me getting upset? Is it worth it? You know, going into a big to do or whatever. It's not worth it at all.
And so, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying it goes into what we're going to talk about. The first point, being influential and powerful. You can't be influential and powerful if you're known as the pop-off girl.
Yeah.
And so we have to do better with that. Hey, Carol, we have to do better with that as women. And if you want to be labeled as a queen, then popping off, they scared to confront you.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't know when you're going to go off or whatever. And like I said, it ain't like I haven't had the problem, and I'm still working on it to this day. And we have to work on our triggers. But in order to be influential, I think when you are a queen, you don't have a choice but to be influential. Even if you don't want to, you're influential and you're powerful. Because moving as a queen, everybody looks to you. They confide in you. They pattern themselves after you, and meaning your family and even your outside circle. They pattern themselves out of what you do. And so you always have to conduct yourself in a way that is meek. And a lot of people, oh, no problem. We were saying congratulations to you on your graduation and on your degree. But in being influential and powerful, we referenced Esther.
I mean, I ain't the baby, but
yeah, this old lady, she's an old lady.
It's me.
But we referenced Esther, and I love Esther because Esther was not afraid. She did not play about her people. And in this day and age, the times that we are in, we see young people killing each other. And yesterday I was at an event, and all the young ladies, their cheeks was out and their breast was out. And, you know, it's not like we didn't see it growing up, but it might be one or two people that would see it, that we would see, but it was everybody. And so, you know, with that, as women, as mothers, as queen, we need to take our positions and do better. The Bible says the older women will teach the younger. But if the older women is trying to be like the younger women, then we got a whole problem. Debbie says amazing things that you are aware of and realize it's needed to change, respond, and not react. That part is so degrading for us as women. It is degrading. And then we wonder why men don't look at us in a sacred and in a special way. I mean, because the imagination is everything. I'm telling you, you're not sexy because you're naked. That's not what sexy is. If you're sexy, you can be sexy with a bomber jacket on and a hood. You know, it's about your aura and how you carry yourself. And so being influential and powerful, like Esther, Esther is perhaps the most well-known queen in the Bible. She was influential and brave, using her position to save the Jewish people from the plot. Her story is found in the book of Esther, where her courage, wisdom, and faith are highlighted. In a jogging suit. You're right, Melanie. I mean, it doesn't matter if you got it, you got it. You can put on a nun suit, but you're gonna be a sexy nun. That's just what it is. But we have to, as queens, we have to make sure that God is first and our families are second. And that's whether you have children or not. You have a responsibility to the people that God has connected you with, whether it be your church family or whatever. And so we're selfless. It means that we're selfless. When we love people, we're selfless and we're sacrificial. And so in being selfless and sacrificial, you move in a way that is not always conducive to how you feel. It doesn't always serve you. And that's where the sacrifice comes in. Do I sometimes want to go do my own thing rather than be at church early on Sunday morning? Yeah, sometimes I want to sleep in. But at the same time, you have to think about it. There's somebody that might need what you have. And you have a responsibility to say, hey, this is what I need to do.
I need to do that.
Yeah. And even, you know, when you were talking about praying, it's a goal that you can have. Do I want to go on vacation? Do I want to go to sleep? I do. But I have a responsibility to God to sacrifice and stay awake, because I never know in my prayers for somebody else. You never know what somebody's going through. And you never know when God wants to use you to bless somebody else. So I would say, you know, strive to do a little bit better. I know that it is God. Yeah, it is. He knows your heart. He does. But at the same time, we want you to be a queen, girl. Okay.
Period.
All right. So another queen was Queen Sheba, known for her wisdom and wealth. The Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon to test his wisdom with hard questions. Her story is recorded in 1 Kings 10, 1 through 13, and 2 Chronicles 9, 1 through 12. She is portrayed as intelligent, inquisitive, and respectful. And so these women, hey, Anna. And so these women that we're talking about, look how they are described. And I had to think to myself, I wonder, how do people describe me? It's not always about what we think about ourselves. It's sometimes it is what other people think. And I know in my younger years, I used to ask my friends, how would you describe me? But I haven't done that in a while. And I need to take that survey for self so I can do better for myself. Again, Queen Esther stands out as for her devoutness and reliance on prayer and fasting. Her faith in God is a central theme in her story, illustrating the importance of spiritual devotion.
Ooh, fasting is so funny.
Huh?
Fasting is so funny.
It's so funny because it's a mind over matter thing.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, me and Monty, we supposed to do a 2-week fast.
I'm going to text you this question when this broadcast is over. Okay, Melanie.
When I say me and Monty, we're supposed to do a 2-week fast starting next week, baby, pray for me. That's all.
But you know, fasting can be mind over matter, because I do intermittent fasting right now to lose weight. I can do it wonderful.
Yeah,
I can get up and I can drink a cup of coffee and I don't have to eat nothing or whatever for the whole day.
Yeah, that's fine.
But on the days, I have specific days that I fast. On them days that I fast, I don't know why I don't even cook on a regular basis. I can think of recipes and all kind of stuff that I can go in there, you know, and whip up. But it's a mind over matter thing. It's the enemy trying to get you off your square and keep you from being the woman that you are supposed to be. Point 3, being courageous and strategic. Queen Esther, she demonstrated immense courage and strategic thinking when she risked her life by approaching the king uninvited to expose the harem's plot. Her actions required careful planning and a bold spirit. And so when we're talking about being a queen where our families are concerned, there are some things that a lot of us as mothers will do. Listen, when it comes to my kids, when it comes to these 2 little old people right here, I don't care how old they are. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure that these people are, together. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Somebody's texting me. And so, as a community, especially in the Black community, I think that we need to do better with doing things like these, like podcasts and having conversations so that we can help the younger mothers understand. You hear a lot of young mothers saying, hey, my kids have grown up a little bit. The kids be 10 and 12. And they'll say things like, it's my time. It's time for me, to do. I've been unhappy for, this amount of time or whatever. And it's time for me to find happiness. Well, when you talk about happiness versus joy, happiness depends on something happening or a person. And we need to teach them that it's joy that you're looking for. Because when you have joy, it makes no difference how many kids you have, how many times you have to say, hey, I can't go or I can't do this. You stay in the same temperament because God gives joy. He wants you to be happy with people, but he's in the joy business. And so in the joy business, you can do things like raise your kids and not be able to have girls' night out time or whatever. And you're okay with it because my assignment right now is to raise my kids. Number 4, wise and discerning. Queen Sheba, her journey to Jerusalem to seek Solomon's wisdom shows her discernment and desire for understanding. Her interaction with Solomon underscores the value of wisdom and the pursuit of knowledge. So that's another thing. As a queen, you definitely need to seek wisdom and seek to understand. Knowledge comes in between those two. You cannot have those two without, developing the knowledge. But wisdom and understanding are a must. I say nowadays with text messages, you can easily misconstrue how somebody meant something or whatever. And so a lot of times, especially when I'm having certain conversations with people, I'll pick up the phone rather than to keep texting back and forth because wisdom says I need to get an understanding. So I want to make sure that I'm not drawing a wrong conclusion to something that somebody is saying to me on the phone. And so, with becoming a queen, there are so many responsibilities that we have with becoming a queen that we have to be thinking about how that queen structure looks on a regular basis. And so I wanted to talk a little bit real quick before we go through the rest of the points. I wanted to talk a little bit about the strategy of a queen in a chess game. I don't know how to play chess per se, but in playing chess, it is such a great example of the way that queens should move. So here, the responsibilities for the queen in playing chess, her movement. The queen has the most extensive range of movement on the chessboard. You can move vertically, horizontally, diagonally, any numbers of squares. This gives the queen great flexibility and the ability to control large portions of the board. So if we correlate that with our lives as queens, if you have the characteristics of a queen, you have a family, or even you by yourself, you can make moves. You know what I mean? You have to think about, get a strategy. Remember, we were saying, you don't be emotional, have a strategy. And so if you sit around and you're emotional on a regular basis, emotions allow you to play victim. real easy. And I'm not saying things don't happen to us. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is it says that we walk through the valley. We don't sit down. And so sometimes when you look at other women, because it's a lot of people that that mentor me from afar, they don't even know, that mentor me from afar. And I think about all the things that they have accomplished and how have they accomplished those things. But it's a strategy. A strategy says that if I've got a lot of things to do next week, I need to sit down, write down my schedule, figure out what time I need to get up for this so that you can be on time. Time is queen. Being on time is a queen.
I'll be there.
So, you know, it says that you sit down the night before. When I was selling real estate, I would always sit down Sunday night and I would make out my schedule for the week because I wanted to be effective. That's a strategy. That's a system that you have. So whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's your marriage, you should always be, like we talked about last week, knowing your why, where that's concerned. You should always have a strategy. And because the example on the chessboard, we can move any way that we want. Once we have a strategy. And I'm telling you another thing, when you have a strategy, it keeps you from being so emotional. It allows you to have better relationships with people, whether it be with other women or with men. When a person sees that you're organized, even when they're a messy person, it's something about it that you draw people to you, that, you know, God works through people. And so a lot of times if you're positioned, if you're organized, that means you're positioned for possession. And God can bless you a lot easier than, you know, he would. If you're not positioned for possession, of course he wants to give it to you. But if you're not positioned for it, he's just not going to throw you in there. You know, we all say, hey, I want a good man. I want a good husband who loves me and blah, 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 blah. But if you're a mess, if you're messy and you are a mess and you're unorganized, why would God send you that type of man if you're not that type of woman? You know, so we have to be positioned as queens, attacking and defending. Now, remember, I don't know how to play chess, but I just happened to look this up and it was so good if you use it for an example in your life as far as being a queen. It works. So the queen is a formidable attacking piece. It can threaten and capture enemy pieces across the board due to its long range movement. The queen is often involved in a combination of tactics and its abilities to control multiple directions, simultaneously making a potent force. The queen is bad, okay? When I say she can do anything, and her main objective is to protect the king on this board. And so just like with our life, and when we're talking about Queen Esther and how she done things to protect her people, if you think about it, she was given beauty treatments, but he picked her out of all the other women. She was even favored before she went in to get with the queen, and so to get with the king, and so they put her in a special place. And so when she went in with him for that first night, he fell in love with her that first night because what? She was prepared. She had a strategy and she knew that she was going to save her people. And so she was valuable. You know what I mean? So I say that to say, we had the conversation earlier about seeing the young ladies that had everything hanging out and they were, you know, half naked and this, that, and the other. Well, if nowadays that's all men see, they're immune to it now. They don't even, you know, it don't even surprise them that somebody's cheeks is out walking down the street. And so if that's how you pattern yourself, you want to be like other people, where's the value? When you look at Nissans and a Jag doesn't even, they don't even advertise their cars at all.
They don't.
But Nissans are on TV all day long. Why? Because you can get them a dime a dozen. Yeah. But you can't get a Jag a dime a dozen. And so we talk about our value and our worth. We have to understand there's no competition between me and another woman. Because my worth, I know what my worth is and I know what my value is. So if I know what my worth and what my value is, I don't have to be mad at her, even if she's mad at me. That's what queens do. But she doesn't measure up in my mind to me, and I'm not trying to measure up to her. And so, queens set their standards in another place, in a higher level. And there's no reason to argue. And then where men are concerned, you have to understand and know what your worth is in dealing with them, because a lot of times nowadays we'll say things like, well, he has potential and I'll let him do this and then you're dumbing yourself down. And then you get mad because, well, you've taught him to treat you that way. You haven't said to him, hey, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not going for that. And, he don't believe you because you have allowed him to do these things. And so at some point you have to say to yourself, is it me or is it him? And every time it should be you, because when you know your worth, you're positioned.
Every time it should be me.
It should be me.
No.
You see my shirt? It shouldn't. Well, speak on it, girl. Speak on it.
It be him sometimes.
It be him sometimes. Well, tell me.
Because I'm gonna say, to put all the accountability on us, like it's not another grown person who's actively treating you this way, knowing that they don't have to treat you that way. I can't put it all on me, even though that I might, some women might be allowing it. Now I am a big advocate of teach people how to treat you. Big advocate of that. But I don't know. It ain't always me. Because you as a grown person know that you're doing wrong. You know who raised you. Because I'm pretty sure they didn't raise you to just treat people any type of way just because you can.
Well, but the thing about it is, I feel where you're coming from. But at the same time, hey, Joy, so true. This is on point. You know your value. Yep. But the thing about it is, even if who raised you, just say somebody raised them to treat people that way. You have the option to say, I'm going to let you treat me that way. Or I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here with this guy where they taught him how to treat people the way that they're worth. So that's why I say it's our responsibility to say, hey, dude, hey, man, this ain't working for me, and move on. We as women, as nurturers, we're like, oh, I see this potential in him and I want to do this and I want to do better and I want him and I know and he said that he's going to, but when those actions do not line up with those words, I'm out. It's a wrap. It's time to go. And so that's what a queen status is. A queen status says no, because I'm going to treat people the way that I feel like that they need to be treated. Hey, Vanessa, the way that they want to be treated. And so if a person can't reciprocate that, then that's a problem, and so you have to make the decision to move on. But on to the next point.
Sharita rolled her eyes.
Stop rolling your eyes, Sharita. Controlling the center. Controlling the center square is a key strategy in chess, and the queen is well suited for the task. Placing the queen in the center of the board allows it to exert influence over the wide area and contribute to controlling the board's key squares. And so with that, you control the moves. You really control what goes on in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
You do?
I would say most definitely. Even in all aspects of my life, I feel like I have a decision in the part that all of them that I play. When it comes to work, whatever, I feel like the way, my work ethic is the role that I play in terms of if I want to advance or if I want to stay stagnant or anything like that. Friendships, the role that I play. Every relationship that I have, I know that I am a key part in them. I don't think anybody controls anything that I do human-wise. Because I know that it's my life. And so if it's just like, if I'm not rocking with it, then it's not happening.
And that is so true. You want to position yourself to be priceless. And you don't do it on purpose, but when you know your worth, it is priceless. It's worth more than money. A lot of people nowadays don't understand the definition of loyalty and how big of a part that it plays when a person gives you their loyalty or time. It is priceless. Where money is concerned, somebody can give you some money, but you can lose it or spend it or whatever. Sharita, you can lose it or spend it or whatever. When someone gives you their time and their loyalty, you can't get that back. That's what makes it priceless. And so as a woman, hey, Corey. So as a woman, you need to position yourself in the queen status with your queen characteristics, because you want to be priceless in whatever it is that you do. Now, there are some people that don't know anybody's value.
Yeah.
And so they don't appreciate valuable things. They might eventually, but for the most part, they don't appreciate valuable things. When a person is selfless with you, that is priceless. The average person is not selfish. Selfless. The average person is going to think about self before anything. What you say, Melanie? And don't. So you have to always be working on self. And that's where the my essence comes in at. Hey, Bianca, that's where my essence comes in at. We always have to be doing self accountability so that we know, because we're not perfect, but so that we know we're moving in the best way that we can, that is pleasing to God, number one. Because if we please God, there's always going to be somebody that's not going to be pleased. And 9 times out of 10, when somebody's not pleased, or if somebody's talking about you on a regular basis, they're not happy with their own life. Because the average person who is happy with their own life, they don't have time to talk about you. They don't have time to be figuring out what your strategies are, because she's figuring out what her own strategies are. She's getting control of her own emotions. And so that's a big thing for me, to make sure that my emotions come out of things, because it definitely keeps me stagnant when I deal in my emotions rather than deal with strategy.
That makes sense. I remember, it wasn't when I first got to college, but when I started going to the culture center more, I think I was probably like 20, 21.
You
and
old, girl.
Food that was unnecessary. But when I was early 20s, and I started to get really close to Miss Bruce, shout out to Miss Bruce, because that was my auntie away from home. But this was during my
Sharita said my emotions went every time hard to control.
And that's very fair, because earlier, especially when I first went to college, I'll say I came throughout college. I was, my nickname for Miss Bruce was Hot Tamale, because I get hot, and it's over after I get hot. But one thing that she told me that always stuck with me was, not everyone deserves your anger.
That part.
And when she broke it down to me, I was like, oh my God. Because, obviously, I was always so quick to anger, but if you really think about it, not everybody deserves your anger, because to get angry, to get out of body, you have to care about the situation and that person to a certain extent. And if you think about, especially like road rage, or just get into an argument with somebody on the street, I don't care that much. After like 10, 20 minutes, I'm not really going to care that much. But I didn't realize that until someone broke it down to me, to really say like, hey, when you go home tonight, are you going to be thinking about it? And I would be like, most times, no. And so to get out of body that badly, and to the point where you control, you're able to get me out of body like that. You're controlling me in a sense.
And you have to think to yourself, what triggered me?
Yeah.
What made me do that? What made me feel so bad that I'm going back and forth with this person? And I had to say, Sharita was with me one time, and I just went in on this girl in front of about parking. It was crazy. But I had to think to myself later on that night, that's not the look I want. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And what that says to me,
because you really think I'm bothered. I'm really not.
Well, but does it say that there are some areas in my life that I don't know who I am as a person? You disrespected me. Yes, you did. But at the same time, like you said, if you don't care about the person, you don't know them, what difference does it make? Just keep it moving and move on. What'd you say, Sharita? Ooh, wee, baby. It went there. We're going to stop right there. But, you have to say to yourself, why did that trigger me? There's another, I had my popcorn. Stop it. There's another verse in Isaiah 26:3, that, I kind of keep to myself so that
You said 26?
Isaiah 26:3. So that I understand, if you're at a place, and I tell young people this all the time, your devotion needs to go to a higher level. If scripture doesn't make you feel better about any situation that you have.
Easy. Better stop.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, God, you give true peace to people who depend on you, to those who trust in you.
And so that's true. He gives true peace. And when I read that scripture, when I think about that scripture, I could be frazzled. I can be out of my mind. But when it says God gives true peace, what does it say?
It says, God gives true peace to people who depend on you, to those who trust in you.
Mm-hmm. And so your trust has to be for real. And if you're at a place that your trust is not for real, you need to keep saying it to yourself daily until your trust is for real. And I say that about a lot of things. To repeat things, to do things repetitively creates a habit, and it really does work. And where forgiveness is concerned, I can say that it's hard to forgive people. It is hard when they have wronged you, but it's classy and it's a flex to be able to say, hey, I have forgiven somebody who doesn't really deserve to be forgiven. But I love the fact that I can say, when I repeat scripture, it calms me all the way down. It's like God is sitting here talking to me saying, hey, it's going to be okay.
Oh.
It's all right, baby. And it ain't no reason for you to be that mad. I'm going to fix it. In the end, I have the victory. And coincidentally, my name, Nichelle, means victory. So I can't be walking around defeated.
Yeah.
And my name means victory. And so as queens, we have to make sure that we think about the things that we are involved in, the conversations that we're having, what goes. When I was younger, I didn't understand what they meant by control what goes in your ear gates and your eye gates. But you really have to really press in and make sure that you have control of what goes, in and what comes out. Because, that heart, I'm telling you, out of it flows the issues of life. And people will be able to tell, yeah, she got some issues, because out of that heart is something else. And so in being a queen, we have all these things that we have to combine. But remember, when you are repetitive, when you do things, it becomes a habit. And so we create good habits as queens, and we move as such. In this day and age, people take other people for granted. And that's in friendships, that's in relationships, that's in marriages, that's whatever, in work relationships. People are quick to take other people for granted because most people are not selfless. And so especially when you're striving, when you're a selfless person, it can be real hurtful. It can get you off your square, and the enemy will send people will allow, not knowing, people will allow the enemy to work through them to keep you stagnant. I did a video yesterday about that, to keep you stagnant. And it is our responsibility. It is our essence. It is our accountability to make sure that we identify the people that are in our spaces so that the enemy is not able to move to make us stagnant. So there are so many different traits. And when we were talking about being influential and being powerful, the way that Queen Esther positioned herself in order to save her people, because the king could have said, hey, we're going to put her to death because I didn't ask for her. I didn't summons her. But she knew, she had talked to God. She had fasted. She had prayed, and she discerned that this is the time to do it. And it worked. And look at the favor that she had, even though the king was her husband. We all know in this day and age, just because you're married to somebody, it doesn't mean that you have the favor with them. You know what I mean? And so, it's that. She's a great example of, what it means to be a queen. And so also in being a queen, you have to believe it. You cannot say, hey, I'm a queen, and then feel like you a peasant. It says speak things that are not as though they are. And so if you don't speak that, if you don't do anything but get up and speak it to yourself every day, I'm a person, I didn't think affirmations worked.
I love affirmations.
I didn't think they did.
I love them. I have like note cards, and so I have it in my like current apartment. But in my last apartment, I had like my bathroom mirror was like filled with so many affirmations. I love saying affirmations because they make you feel good. Like, you know, I would say a couple throughout the morning, whatever. But like I said, I had so many. Anytime I go in the bathroom throughout the day or whatever, I'm reading them, and so subconsciously, because you know, subconsciously you have like 30,000 thoughts a day, subconsciously, and so most of our thoughts subconsciously are like, oh, you know, that chair is blue or this shirt is red, whatever. But then some of those thoughts are certain thoughts that you've had subconsciously that have gone, that you thought, okay, I thought about it and it's gone. Some of those thoughts have filtered into your subconscious. And so it's so important to watch, especially like what you're reading and seeing and hearing, especially if you don't have like the mindset of being able to filter out those thoughts. Because your subconscious is going to rotate those. And like I said, you have 30,000 thoughts a day. And so,
my daughter Diamond has affirmations on her bathroom mirror.
Yeah, because whenever you go into the bathroom, I'm either consciously or subconsciously reading it, and it's being filtered throughout my thoughts. And so regardless if I'm saying them,
out loud.
Yeah, I'm reading it and it's being repeated back to myself subconsciously, and it's going through the rotation to eventually where I'm going to start acting differently without whether I notice it or not, because I have these affirmations that are on my mirror. And so like I would have scriptures, I would have quotes, and then I would have just regular affirmations, whatever. So that way I know who I am and who I want to be.
Sharita said her daughter does it as well. So I guess it's something that's more prevalent in the younger generation. Not that we don't do it. I just have not. I've always known about them. I know. And I didn't practice it myself. And so I just now got to a point where I started practicing it myself. And the reason why that I did that is because I've always been a strong, confident person. But there are some times in your life that you can have people and things say so many negative things that you really have to be conscious of your ear gates, and what you're hearing.
You got to pop out and show people.
Yeah, well, I would just pop out and show people. So that brings me to another subject, which corresponds with the things that we have been talking about. I didn't practice affirmations before. Oh, y'all going real fast. But I do now. She doesn't for self-esteem and positivity. She can let depression get in her way.
I understand. I'm just, depression, like, I feel like depression is not something that's talked about in the Black community or the Black household, period. Because there's been plenty of times where I've been like, oh, I'm depressed. And you'd be like, well, did you talk to Jesus? I did talk to Jesus. I still feel sad. I don't know if he's waiting.
Where you at, Jesus?
I don't know if he's waiting, but I'm still sad. And so,
oh my goodness.
Depression is something that it needs to be talked about, because I can't just talk to Jesus, Lord. I'm still sad. I don't know what you're waiting on. But I know your time is perfect timing, but
I need you to hurry up. I gotta go to work.
I don't want to do that, and I'm sad.
But you know what? I found that that's okay. Sometimes when you're feeling like that and you just say, hey, I'm going to take one day and I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to watch movies, or I'm going to get into bed or whatever.
That was my day today.
I think God is okay with that. I believe that he is. Yeah, he be playing with our emotions too.
He does.
But you know what I have found, and I'm going to do better with this. I had said in another episode, I am a person that people are innocent until you prove to me that you're not worthy of being innocent. My brother says no other way around. They're guilty until they prove to me that they're innocent. I agree to disagree with him. But, there's a saying that says, sanitize my circle and detox from people. And so I talk to God like my homies. I know that's right. He gets it too. I believe you. I believe you. He got your name written down, Sharita. I know he does. But I haven't always done a good job with my circle of people. And And it's not that you don't want people to be around you. You just got to figure out where they fit in your puzzle pieces. And when you pick the right circle, then you have a team. You know, a team with armor. And so you want to get to a place where if you're feeling like that, your circle knows, hey, this ain't like her. Let me call her and see what she got going on, or see what she's doing, or, you know, help her to get up and get out and get back on her pedestal or on her square. I've done it. Choose wisely. Yep. And so I've just learned that circle is very important. And my circle will probably not be very big at all, period. I know for me lately, God has had me in a place of just me and him, just being by myself, in a place of isolation, and just being by myself. And at first, I didn't like it, but alone time is really necessary, and it really allows you to grow as a queen. Your strategies, you know, get keener and stronger in spending that time. And so I think it's good. I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought.
I would say, you know, just to piggyback, like isolation is such a delicate time. You know, it's always so interesting to me, because I had a time where I was isolated, and I'm now getting out to where I'm starting to be more social and stuff again. Because it makes you look at everything. And one thing that a lot of people aren't willing to do is to look at everything. You know, it's easy to look at the good things about yourself, but one thing that is so humbling and scary is that you have to look at the ugly and the bad things that you possess. And taking the time out to look through that trauma and the things that trigger you, and to see where it comes from, and to how to figure out what to do with it. Just for me, you know, just being vulnerable, you know, certain things that have happened in my life, whatever, and I've had to be like, oh, you know, I'm put that in the closet over here. But during my last, you know, era of isolation, after my, you know, the relationship that I had and the things I experienced, I had to think to myself, you know, why did I allow myself to go through that? Number one. Number two, why did I allow myself to act like that? And then how am I going to do better going forward? And a lot of the things that I had to go through was trauma, or things that I've carried with me for years. And to look at strongholds and things that wherever that I've just comfortably carried, it was scary, because it's just like, you know, like I said, people don't want to believe like, oh, this is me. You know, because I like to think of myself as someone who's naturally sweet, who's this and that. But to look at, like I said, like my anger, that was something that was very ugly to me. And to be like, okay, what is the cause of my anger? What triggers my anger? Why do I have to feel like I need to hurt people to that extent? I was like, oh God. Like,
yeah, that's not cute.
That's not. I don't like that. I don't like broccoli. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's not cute. You know, when you look at yourself and you are taking self-inventory, you know, we are quick to judge other people and not give people grace. But at the same time, good Lord, girl, what is happening? What are you doing?
And one thing that you taught me, I feel like it's because you teach me a lot, but there are certain things, I feel like I have a top 10. There are certain things that you have taught me that I feel like it has changed the game for me. And one thing where it comes to, especially from trauma in terms of other people, is that oftentimes you have to heal and move as if you won't get closure. And so, you know,
that is hard.
That is very hard.
Oh, it's so hard.
You taught me that at such a young age. I think I wouldn't say such a young. I would think I was like 20.
That's young.
Or maybe even 19.
You were still in school.
Yeah, I was say 19 or 20. And so, you know, you taught me to move on, you know, and heal as if I would never get closure from that somebody. And when I say it was the hardest thing to even try to process at 19 and 20, because I'm just like, they need to tell me sorry. They need to tell me something.
Right. Sometimes people in our circles carry different energies. Yeah.
And like, you know, it's, as I've navigated different relationships, there's a lot of people that I've fallen out with I haven't spoken to them in years. I haven't gotten a sorry or whatever, but I was able to move on because my mom taught me that sometimes I'm not going to get that sorry. Sometimes I'm not going to get that explanation as to why you did me that way. But what I do know is I will heal for myself. I will forgive you for myself because you might stay in that same energy. I will not allow myself to.
And it's toxic.
Yeah.
You know that it's toxic. And a lot of times people don't even understand why that they're there, their toxicity and their trauma. Some people like to stay in that. Melanie, someone stabbed me in the chest,
like
and tried to kill me.
Physically?
Someone I called friend and have had to move on from. Really, Melanie? Good God, that's hard. However, heal with us. Wow, yeah, we need to talk some more about this situation that happened with you, Melanie. Very hard. It took years.
Oh wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She said literally, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that is
that is
gracious.
Something. But you know, Melanie,
Thank
love
you
you.
For being vulnerable, for sharing that.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But I love Melanie, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm just gonna share something. And Melanie, I hope you don't mind me sharing. Melanie and I have bumped heads more than one time, but I love her because in bumping heads, we didn't fall out. We go to church together, but we didn't fall out to the point where we don't speak.
Yeah.
You know, where we can't, you know, it's a part of my testimony. Yep, it's all God. Yeah, that is an amazing testimony. And you said you didn't get a sorry or anything. Is that what she said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you.
So I ain't even gonna tell my story. It don't even, you know, that's like coming after Michael Jordan. So we gonna just let mine go on and go.
Whole story.
Yep, that part. And so for you to be able to do that is a testimony in itself. No, my sister is still friends with her. Oh, my goodness, baby, bless your heart. We're going to pray right now. Father, in the name of Jesus. I'm telling you, because
God's still working on me.
That is something. I mean, but those are the testimonies. Those are the things that we go through. But in her giving that testimony, that speaks to her class and that speaks to her flex and her character and her relationship with God. You know,
I'm going to read it. Where's she at?
We just said we all gonna posse up. Hold on, we gonna have to use emotions this time and not the strategy.
Hey, like I said, God ain't through with me yet.
Shantae says, I've been through a lot and I don't show that part of me, but I talk to God daily to help me. Yeah, you know, I'm telling you. Yeah, in order to be a better person and to live in purpose, and that's the end goal. That purpose, that assignment that God has given us, all these things have come at us to distract us from where we need to be. And hey, precious. And the bad part about it is, if you think about the average Black woman, they say that we're angry and we're this and we're that. And we've been put in these positions in order to maneuver. And that's not how God created it to be. And so we're the lowest ones on the totem pole. Nobody protects Black women, not white men, not white women, not Black men, not other Black women. We don't even protect each other. And so we need to do better with that. We need to have these types of conversations so that we know, hey, when I come in contact with my sis, you know, like me and Melanie, we fell out. But at the same time, I had to say to myself, and I'm sure she had to say to herself, I don't know what she's dealing with. I don't know what triggered her or what triggered me in that. But is it worth us being sisters, being at the same church, and we don't like each other and we don't speak? It's not worth that. You know, and so being a queen, there are a lot of things that you have to maneuver. And point 5 on here, it talks about flexibility and adaptability. And it says the queen's flexibility allows her to adapt to different stages of the game. In the opening, she might stay back to avoid early threats. In the mid game, she becomes more active, participating in attacks. In the end game, her power becomes even more pronounced as she can dominate the reduced number of pieces on the board. I see. And I still love and respect and admire you to the utmost. And I love you too, Melanie. I truly do. I love you right back. And I love that. I love to have those stories where you might have bumped heads, but that shows growth. This is all so real. We have to allow the Holy Spirit to heal us and walk in our purpose. Father God, however the enemy, I can't read it. Y'all going too fast. What does it say, Nigel?
Well, however, the enemy will send distractions to keep you off your purpose path.
Yep. And I mean, we have to look at that daily. I'm glad you know I do, because I do. And that's what I mean by having daily accountability. It's not about what other people have done. We can't worry about how other people treat us. My job, I'm in a position at church. Church people will hate you. They will. I love them. But church people will hate you. I'm telling you, they don't like accountability. They don't like for you to tell them how to do things or whatever. But you have to be in a place where you continue to love people. And what I have learned, it is not my responsibility to worry about how people treat me, but it is definitely my responsibility to worry about how I treat people. Now, does that mean that I never exercise authority in a thing? You can't be a leader and not do that.
Yeah.
You have to exercise authority. That's the reason why God put you in authority. He put you in authority to keep organization. And sometimes organization doesn't look good to people. They don't like it. But in order to make anything go, your household, you have to dictate things to your children in order for that household to run the way it needs to run. And you can't be off your square because your kids is mad at you.
Show me. Because Molly don't listen to nothing.
Oh Lord, that's another thing. So we have to be flexible. We have to be adaptable. We have to be discerning, because a lot of times you might have a conversation with somebody and the conversation might go a little bit left. And you like, wait a minute, why is the conversation going left? But in your mind, you got to think, hey, I don't know if she just got into it with her spouse. I don't know if her kids are acting up. I don't know if she has enough money to pay her bills or whatever. And so that's where listening comes in at. That's where, not talking so much comes in at. So you can kind of discern what it is that you're dealing with. And we have to give each other grace and mercy. We ask for it on a regular basis. So we have to extend that grace and that mercy. Development. While developing the queen too early can make her a target. Getting her into play at the right moment is crucial. Proper timing is essential to avoid exposing her to unnecessary risk. And so with that, I do a lot of that with my sister Janae. Yeah, leave Janae alone. But your development, that speaks to your circle, don't you think? And then proper timing. We have to know, we have to discern, and that's where that relationship with God comes in at, because I know I can get before God, and I'll be like, hey, I got you, God. You want me to do it? Yep, I got it. I'm going to go on over here and do it. But he didn't say, go do it without listening to me. I just need you to be a vessel, and I need you to do it. Hey, Rhonda, I need you to do it. And so with that, I love her, but I just listen to her more now than respond. And sometimes that's ministry. Even though you're not saying anything, she knows that you are a listening ear, and so I'm sure she loves you for that, for being her big sister. But proper timing, you have to know your timing. There are a lot of things that in my life, I will say, if I regretted anything, I've regretted not using my time wisely. And when I say I am so critical when it comes to time, that's why I be like, be on time. But wasting somebody's time is crucial as well. Time is priceless. You cannot get it back. And in my mind, I have to say to myself, who do I think that I am that I can take something from someone that I cannot replace? And so, you have to think of it. You have to think of it like that.
Say it like that. Nah, I feel bad.
No. But you, my daughter, it's a learning situation. But time is everything for me. It is everything for me. And when in my mind, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to get it done. And I don't like to be on the losing team. If I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in something and it turns out nothing, God, I got to go to God, because I got to understand, where did I miss it at? And I spent all this time on something. Where did I miss it? And so in my mind, I have to say to people, I have to be direct. If I'm going to do it, yes, I'm going to do it. If I'm not going to do it, no, because I'm not going to waste your time. I had anger issues when I was 19 years old. And this girl I knew and asked me about my grades and being messy.
At the same time, I was like, I'm gonna drag the heifer.
Don't drag her. Don't drag her. Don't drag her. Every day I'm gonna put a post on there that says, queens don't deal in emotion, they deal in strategy. And y'all gonna know what that means. Just hit a like and we're gonna keep it moving every day. But as a queen, you understand how precious time is, and you understand the part that loyalty plays in your family and in your circles. There's a scripture in the Bible. It's Psalms 15:4, and it talks about swearing to your own hurt. I will never forget that scripture. I will never forget it, because there are plenty of times that we might tell somebody that we'll do something. Melanie says, Shakira, be angry, but sin not. You right, Melanie. I'm going to post that tomorrow and tag you. Please do. Did you get it?
Yeah, this says Psalms 15:4.
Speak up a little bit so they can hear you.
Okay, so it says, they hate those who fail to please God and honor those who respect the Lord. If they make a promise to their neighbor, they do what they promised.
And so with that, you swear to your own hurt. You know, if you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to pick you up Saturday so we can go to this event, and you wake up Saturday and it's raining and you really don't feel like doing it, but you know that they're a speaker at the event, and you call them at the last minute and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to pick you up. Hey, no, that says something about your integrity. You swear to your own hurt. It's been plenty of times that I've even lost money about stuff in the real estate business, because I'll promise a person something knowing I shouldn't have been promising them. But if I promised it, I have to be better at that. Yeah, but if I promised it and that person is dependent on me, I'm telling you, that is something that I just cannot get over. If I leave somebody hanging,
that makes me feel bad.
Oh my God, it makes me feel like the worst person in the world. And so I always remember that scripture, swear to your own hurt. Your word is your bond. That is your character. That's your integrity. That's your loyalty. You know, and as a queen, if you say something, then you get it done. You know, and so your kids are watching you. Your family is watching you. You know, it is up to us. We are the glue to these families. And that is the reason why I keep going back to it, that we have the issues that we have. That's my character. If I say something, I'm going to do it. And your kids watch you do that. Your family, you know, if you're married, your husband, I'm telling you, he might not even know it himself, but he loves you for the fact that he can depend on you. You swear to your own hurt. And as a queen, that's a characteristic. You get it done. You make it happen no matter what, by any means necessary. So we're going to wrap this up in a minute, because we're already after, it's almost 8:30. I just lost my train of thought. The example of queen roles, the most pertinent examples, queen roles, we talked about having a relationship with God. We talked about influence and being powerful. We talked about flexibility and adaptability.
Talked about courageous and strategy.
We talked about courageous and being strategic. Before we go, I want to talk briefly about Queen Jezebel. Now, Jezebel's something else, baby. She's messy. We all know the story about Jezebel being messy. But this says, though she is often viewed negatively, Jezebel, the wife of Ahab, was undoubtedly a powerful and influential figure. She was potentially astute, using her influence for idolatry and persecution of prophets, as seen in 1 Kings. So what that says is, these characteristics that we are asking God for, there is potential room to use them in the wrong way. So we all know Jezebel to be manipulative. She had a witchcraft spirit, you know. So anytime that you are doing something or saying something that's trying to coerce somebody into doing something that you want them to do and not making their own decision, you're being manipulative. And a lot of times some women just do it because that's what they've always done. They've been taught that. And they don't think anything's wrong with that. There's a difference in being manipulative and influential. You can be influential and give people all of the information, but it's still their decision. And so when you are a woman who is influential, a lot of women cringe when we talk about the word submission, which only means to come under the mission. But in actuality, in the average household, that woman sets the tone for the house. That means you have way more influence on what's going on.
You're the neck.
Yeah, you are the neck. And so depending on what type of woman you are, we don't like the word meek either. But meek does not mean weak.
Yeah, I don't like meek either.
But it doesn't mean weak. It just means that you're not popping off and you're not doing your neck and doing all that. When you're dealing with a king appreciates the fact that even though you have a discrepancy, there's a certain way that you bring that discrepancy to him. And there's a calmness that a king has. Now, you have to differentiate what you got going on. Now, there's just like there's a queen in all of us, there's a king in every man, I believe. But just like we choose whether we want the queen characteristics to come out, they choose whether they want the king characteristics to come out. If you're dealing with a man who's messy and chaotic, ain't no sense in you thinking, hey man, you're not gonna get this meekness. You gonna get these hands or something, because you messy you messy and you chaotic. But when you deal with a real grown man, when you deal with the for real king, that meekness is always influential. You are the peace. You set the temperature of that house, and that's a queen characteristic. And so we need to
have a podcast. That's what I struggle on, because I'm a very direct person. And so
you talk a little. So I want to make sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we need to have a podcast on meekness, because I'm a very direct person. And so if you don't tell me directly, I'm not going to catch it, or I'm not going to, I guess I'm not necessarily meek, because it's just like.
Well, meek doesn't, just because you're direct, it doesn't mean you're not meek.
Well, I guess because I don't know, I'm very feisty with it. And so, sometimes my tone.
Your pop off just needs work.
Yeah, I'm not yelling, but my tone is.
But you're sarcastic. Is that what it is?
I say assertive. I feel like assertive is a good, I feel like assertive is a good word.
Assertive. Me too, Naja Smith. See, yeah, you are.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm assertive, but it's just like, it's always taken the wrong way.
Is it taken the wrong way?
I feel like it's always taken the wrong way. I don't mean it to. Like I said, I'm just, especially if something is supposed to make it make sense.
This is my daughter. This is the daughter who says, that's me. I'm sarcastic. Yes. I like assertive. Okay, yeah. Precious. And that's wonderful that you like that. That doesn't mean that's what she's talking about.
I know this is off topic. I just need to ask. So I had told a young man at one point in time, because we were having... I just need to know if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, fine. I'll accept it. I'll take accountability.
All right, y'all. Listen to this so y'all can answer.
Please, let me know. So we were having a disagreement, and I'm clearly stating what the problem is, and he's not getting it. So I said, is there a problem with comprehension? If it is, let me know, and I will accommodate the conversation. Is that mean?
What say y'all? I ain't gonna say nothing yet because I'm her mother. So repeat what you said again. So
what I said was, is there a problem with comprehension? If it is, let me know, and I will accommodate the conversation. I was genuinely telling him, because you're not getting what I'm saying. I have no other way to explain what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was a bit. Okay, Melanie, I got you. So for those of you who said no, answer this question. If the young man said that to you, would you take offense to it? Let me know what you're saying. I would have said the same thing too, but mine wouldn't have been as nice. I don't think so either. That's not mean. He was not on your level, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, when we stay in the meek department, if that young man said that to you, would you be okay with it? And so sometimes you can be, and I do believe that there is a place for confrontation. I don't know the whole story, probably. So, I don't know the whole story into why you're my daughter. So it probably did fit. But I will say for me, I'm trying to work on my meekness as well.
So what would have been a better way? Because in my brain, my friend said the same thing to me. If he had said that to you, would you have been upset? But I'm also thinking to myself, well, what better way could I have said? Obviously, there's not a connect. We're not, for whatever reason.
So for me, if you're not connecting and he's not around, you knew that he probably really wasn't the one anyway. So why am I wasting my time even having this conversation? If I gotta say something like that, he ain't the one. Ask him, has he always had a problem? I hate her. No, some people may feel things, may need things broken down. And you're right. But in this case, she knew he wasn't talking about nothing. And she knew she wasn't talking about, she didn't even like him. So I'm just saying that to say is, you don't even got to worry about the sarcasm. Okay, just say okay and ghost him. You don't got to talk to him no more. What was the question? I was washing dishes. What was the question?
So I had basically said, what does it mean to have said I had, me and this young man was having a disagreement, and I had said, I had asked him, did he have a problem with comprehension, or was there a problem with the comprehension? And if there is, let me know so that I can accommodate the conversation.
Mm-hmm. But Melanie's right. Yeah, the power is not even responding. And I have learned that power is not for other people. It's really for me. When you really know, if you rehearse something in your head, you know right from wrong, you know how you roll or whatever. Most of the time, it's not even worth having a conversation. Because if you're dealing with somebody like that, they're probably not going to tell you the truth. And then you're just going to be pissed off even more because now he's lying and now he's treating me like I ain't got no sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was being spicy with the dude. Yeah, that's what she was doing. She was being spicy. That's my daughter. So I know she was being spicy. But we trying to, take some of the seasoning out of it a little bit. We got too much seasoning. That was a nice way to say that you're not understanding on the same level. You right, Precious. It was. And I'm pretty sure he understood to move on, brother, because ain't nothing going on over here. Ain't nothing happening. And I do agree that sometimes you have to do that. We speak about confrontation in the Bible, and confrontation is good. But I just want to, for my daughter, I want to get to a point where if ain't nothing coming out of it, we don't even have to talk about it. Stop. What, Sharita? What I do? The salt, but no. Michelle's daughter. I'm telling you. And so, we have to get a point, just ghost him and move on. Yeah, because we got to turn this thing back around because for the most part, we have made it bad where dating and dealing with men especially are concerned because of the ways that we move, and a lot of women, they in the same pool of things. They have the same characteristics, the same value or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when your value is more, you don't even have to operate on that level. Mm-hmm. So yeah, one thing I know if I'm talking to you, I know that you can hear and I know that you can comprehend. So I ain't even got to ask you, my guy. So, what I have learned is we are breaking these. And the thing about it is what I have learned is you don't have to give someone 99 tries. We're not perfect. One thing I know about me, like I said, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to get it done. And I know in a relationship or whatever, then I have to reciprocate some actions and some feelings. Hey, if he's not reciprocating that, move on. Don't let these people let you believe the myth that it's not enough men out here and it's not enough this. Stop that. I serve a God, and it even talks about it in Revelations about, how many men and how many women and all that. But at the same time, I believe God will do whatever I ask, if it's in his will. And so with that being said, you don't have time to sit around and listen to these fools talk this foolishness. Mm-hmm. Go where some kings are. If you queen status, quit fooling around with these dudes that's playing games and saying this and doing something else. If his actions don't say it, I ain't going for it, period. I'm over that. I'm done with that.
I be telling my friends, they'll be like, men are creatures of action. I'm a woman of my word.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, give me some, girl. Say it again so they can hear you.
I be telling my friends, men are creatures of actions, and I'm a woman of my word.
That part, working together works, and that's how it should work. That's a balance. right there. And so to keep dealing and having heartache and you were supposed to do this and how come you didn't do that? It's okay. It's okay. I'm a big girl. Tell me the truth. And if you ain't going to tell me the truth, your actions are always going to tell it. And I'm telling you, when you are a woman of value, when you have queen status and queen characteristics, I promise you, somebody else will come along and fill that void. It's just a matter of us knowing our value. Hey, Florence. It's just a matter of us knowing our value so that we can be illuminated. When you're following purpose, you're illuminated. God illuminates you wherever you are. You are a star in your own right. And so be a star in your own right. Don't be sitting around paying attention to what's going on and you got queen status. I got queen status. I ain't got time to be doing that. You're not about to be breaking my heart and having me crying and I'm worrying about it or whatever. I'm working in purpose and can't even figure out what my purpose is because I'm worrying about what you got going on. No, go on over there where they like that stuff because it ain't no mess over here. We don't do mess where it's queen status. And so we're going to get ready to get off here because it's already 8:30. We done talked till our eyes are talked out. Queen's about the business that pays. Yep. That part. Heavy on that page. That heavy on that bag. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just a waste of time and a waste of heartache, heartbreak. Don't want none. Let's move on. And so, with that, all of these points, we need to remember. I remember back in the day, the older ladies would say, hey, that Bible will tell you everything that you wanted to know. And it's not that I didn't believe it. I just didn't do it. Yeah. But when you look, I'm really getting ready to show my street part. The Bible is player. If you want any type of playing tools, the Bible is where you get them from. You pattern yourself after that. It's not the who's popular now, the Kardashians or the Meg Thee Stallion or whoever's popular. Not too much on it. Yeah, it ain't none of them. It's these players in the Bible. Come through player. Yeah, the Bible is legit player. That's right, Mel. It's legit player. And it has some great mentors that you can mentor yourself after. And your worth goes up even more. Your value is illuminated. So with that, love yourself, see yourself the way God sees you. I don't care what people say. You have to be in a place where, okay, I'm going to agree to disagree, but I'm going to keep doing me, boo. And I'm going to keep doing me in my queen status. And so with that being said, you don't have to pop off if you're not agreeing with what people are saying or what they're saying about you. Ghost them. You got that right. Unfriend them. Whatever it is, but don't wait around to wait for people to get right in your life or to do right by you in your life because you are a queen. So sometimes it's just not the time for you to deal with people. And whether it be your girlfriends or whoever, if it does not suit or serve what it is that you're trying to do, especially if you know that you're trying to do the right thing, if you're trying to live your life right and you're, effectively trying to seek God with what you got going on, because people gonna be mad at you. They're gonna be more mad at you when you get your life right than they are when you not rolling right. And so you have to already make up in your mind that, hey, I gotta guard this thing. I gotta keep this thing under lock and key. And so with that being said, ladies, be great. Queen status, queen characteristics. So thank you guys for joining us once again. We'll think of another topic. And if you have a topic that you want to talk about, just inbox me or put it in the comments. Look around on the website, NichelleSmith.com. We're going to have some really good stuff by July 1st. The t-shirts are on there. If you want to buy a me t-shirt, I usually have the me moments every Monday where we deal with our own accountability on things. So I appreciate you guys. I've never liked being on camera. Me neither. And my pastor prophesied this to me probably in like 2018. And I was like, yeah, Pastor, I don't know if you got that one right because I don't like to be in front of the camera. But something just kept speaking to me. And I know that this is going to get better and better as God adds the ideas to this. We were supposed to do it in a different way. But of course the enemy comes in and tries to stop you. But I heard God say, do it anyway. So that's how we started going live on Facebook. If you haven't gone to my YouTube channel, it's at Nichelle the Boss. Please go. Thank you. Please go to my YouTube channel. We need a few more people so that we can go live on YouTube and we can really reach a lot of people. So when I say I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart, it really helps me out to have these conversations, these girly conversations, so that we all can be better. I truly love having my best friend with me on a regular basis. This is truly my best friend. So I love her. She's a smart young lady. I learn a lot from her. It's hard raising a mother, but she does a good job at raising a mother. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and share this video so that we can grow. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.